How do you feel about the way you look? Do you wish you had smaller ears, a bigger nose, a more defined chin, or possibly 3 more hairs attached to your balls? Well, I'm going to take y'all here to an article that is not about somebody who wants eyes that glow in the dark, but it is about an individual that wished they could change a part of their body so much so they were willing to undergo a dangerous procedure. Let's go here to Deadline, where a new film premiered in certain theaters in New York called Caterpillar. Headline is this: Caterpillar trailer director Liza Mandelup trains lens on man desperate to permanently alter color of his eyes. And it goes like this, written by Matthew Carey. People today who are influenced highly by social media's beauty standards apparently do not feel like brown eyes are up to muster. Director Liza Mandelup's documentary Caterpillar explores the dangerous extremes some people are willing to go in the quest to, as the Crystal Gale song put it, make their brown eyes blue.
I'm tired of being sad. If I feel sad one more day, I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
You should be aware about the side effects related to it. The pressure can increase and there can be other problems.
This is not FDA tested, it's not regulated in any way.
It's not completely safe. You are doing something to your eye which is not normal.
The company's weird, but it's gonna make my life better.
In this film, we follow a young man by the name of David Taylor, apparently a biracial man who envies his father's green eyes, who finds himself looking in the mirror with some sort of unhappiness, feeling like he is not the true person that he feels like inside. So much so that he undergoes a procedure traveling to India to get his eyes changed from brown to green. It does, however, come with a heavy physical and emotional toll. At one point, one of the patients who agreed to be a part of this documentary was speaking with the doctor and asked the doctor, would they ever undergo the procedure to change their eyes? And the doctor says, no, I'm happy with the color of my eyes. When further questioned, he then told the client that she can live without the procedure and should avoid doing it because there are chances of side effects. The woman did, however, go through with the surgery eventually. Taylor, the individual that we were focused on specifically for this documentary, has had his own run-ins with side effects. Going back here to the People article where it says Taylor had a particularly rough time with the surgery as an alleged packaging mishap caused him to receive the incorrect eye color, leaving him with jade green eyes instead of frost gray. He said that he was dealing with throbbing headaches, sensitivity to light, and watery eyes. He visited a local doctor who told him there's no collateral damage to the eyes, but the implants needed to be removed. The implants, the doctor says, are sitting somewhere where there's no anatomical place for them to sit. Taylor has now said that he does not have the money or resources to get the implants removed. He knows his eyesight is on the line. The only reason I even bothered to give this article any attention was, one, obviously the inherent sadness in that so many individuals in our country, in the world, are so unhappy with their body, the body that they're born into. And I recognize that in that unhappiness, if there ever is an option presented that allows them to change something about themselves, 9 times out of 10, people are going to go for it. I look towards people that I know right now in their early 30s, people who still have a lot of youth in their face, who have a lot of beauty to them, who are already considering doing things like Botox in their foreheads, in their cheeks, to maintain that youthfulness for as long as possible, regardless of how many individuals we see on the television who get these procedures done and no longer can even smile right, who have the permanent grin stuck on their face, who have to drink water with a damn napkin attached because it keeps dripping out the side of their mouth because they can't close it. And then it doesn't deter people because people believe in maintaining what they feel inside. It's also saddening to me that this is an individual who mentions the fact that he wants light-colored eyes because he's biracial, almost as if to say, I want more of what the white side. If I'm going to be biracial, I want the benefit of having European-centric features. And that is, again, disheartening, and that so many individuals we've seen time and time again do things to themselves to make themselves more appealing to what America, through our entertainment industry, has put out as the standard. Individuals want light-colored eyes because everybody has brown-colored eyes and it's dull and it's lifeless. Individuals want to lighten their skin because they're told across the board that the lighter your skin, the closer you are to pure. And hell, I even look to individuals like Michael Jackson, the king of pop. This is something that is truly heartbreaking to me. We have what is arguably the greatest entertainer of all time, a black man, one of the richest, business savviest entertainers of all time. And this individual is no longer even portrayed as a black man. When we look to impersonators, there's the few and far between that are black that, you know, highlight to when I think he produced some of his greatest music, the black era of his music. But you see a lot of entertainers who are just straight up white with long, straight hair, and that's now what Mike is deemed to have been. And again, it's just, you see time and time again in all of these places, right? In Celebrityum, in the billboards, in the ad that we recently had with Sydney Sweeney with the whole Gene fiasco. It's being pushed into people's brains time and time again that there is a certain standard of beauty, and if you don't meet it, you're not beautiful. And so I look to this man, right? This is a 32-year-old man. This is not typically the individuals that you would think would be dealing with insecurity. Not saying that men can't be insecure, not saying that age has anything to do with insecurity. Of course it does. As the older we get, more people get, insecure. What I am saying is this is not the typical individual that we see promoted as dealing with body dysmorphia or feeling like they're not loved or they're not attractive. And yet he highlights a real issue in that people are willing to go to extremes to make themselves more appealable, even if they're not willing to say it out loud that, hey, I struggle with X, Y, Z. And that's because the world has made people feel like they are not beautiful. And it's just so sad because now we're seeing an individual who not only went through the surgery, but is dealing with scarier ramifications for having changed his eyes. Not to mention the fact that the doctor who was in charge of the surgery was already telling individuals, you don't have to do this. You will be just fine the way you are. This isn't meant to make you healthier, live longer. This is simply a cosmetic procedure to make you feel like the person you feel like inside. And again, I go, whatever makes you happy, do. Life is short. Do what makes you happy. However, when it comes to doing something that now this individual has to go get another surgery to have these things removed because they were never meant to be there in the first place, you just go, I wish there were people around him that told him that, one, black is beautiful, because that's what this really comes to for, in my mind, this individual, because again, it's quoted multiple times that being biracial is one of the reasons that he sought these green eyes. Uniqueness is the beauty. However, we've also seen plenty of people who have brown eyes and the darkest skin in the world, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And we've also seen individuals that are light in color that have dark eyes that are beautiful. And so it's just like the gamut of beauty. It feels like he missed that lecture. And so to think that the only thing that would make him feel more secure is, can I change my eye color? I just thought was really, really sad, but also fascinating in that there are so many individuals, again, reflected in our society, reflected in Celebrityum, that are doing things to themselves to fit a narrative. In fact, let me take y'all to another article here, right? This article is from NPR, and it's called "The Quest to Create Gene-Edited Babies Gets a Reboot." This is by Rob Stein. Back in 2018, a Chinese scientist had horrified the world when he revealed he had secretly engineered the birth of the world's first gene-edited babies. He was universally reviled and considered reckless and unethical because, among other reasons, gene editing was so new and the technology's full risks were unknown. He was imprisoned. And he was in prison for 3 years for violating medical regulations. Fast forward to today, though, you would think that would be the end of the tale. But companies are sprouting up again with the eagerness and the motivation to start exploring gene editing, again under the guise of, we can prevent diseases. We can make better, healthier babies. From Kathy Tai, a biotech entrepreneur, a woman who was also married to the aforementioned scientist that got locked up for messing around with creating genetically modified babies. She says, we want to be the company that does this in the light with transparency and with good intentions. Her company, dubbed the Manhattan Project, intentionally referencing, of course, the 1940s Manhattan Project where they built the atomic bomb, is focused on ending genetic disease. She goes on to say, I think the timing is right for having this conversation. There's a lot of promise in this technology. However, supporters of the Manhattan Project and companies like it, individuals who are championing this scientific development in biotechnology, individuals who are dropping millions of dollars into this research, are also coming out and revealing that, that they are pronatalists, which are individuals who believe that we are in trouble due to falling birth rates, and is basically people who are encouraging everybody to go out and have tons and tons of babies. They don't think it's enough to just say that we're not going to make you sick. They want to also make people's lives better, quote unquote. We get a quote here from Malcolm Collins, a self-described pronatalist, as we just defined, who says, people can say, well, you're playing God by using this type of technology. And he says people would say that with any technology of the past, but they are in support of experimental reproductive technologies ranging from artificial wombs to laboratory-made embryos to gene-edited babies. Malcolm Collins, that pronatalist that we had just mentioned, goes on to say that we fundamentally believe in reproductive choice, and we also very much support parents' rights to give their children every privilege they can. For some people, that means obviously eliminating risk of very dangerous diseases, but for other people, that means investing in education and tutoring to make them smarter or athletically better. And if people would like to start to do that at a genetic level, they should have every right to do so. We're going to leave that article here and give final thoughts. Overcoming that obstacle of adversity of people's mindsets and exposing individuals to, again, the eclectic range of so much beauty in this world, that we get to a true utopia where all forms of life are considered beautiful in its expression, as opposed to the option that makes everything easy for individuals to just pick a way out, to opt out of the fight by giving individuals like Dave Taylor a chance to come into the world with just green eyes. Man, that is a really, really worrisome off-ramp. But like all things, there's good and bad. Nobody can sit here and say that the idea of being able to go in and make sure that a baby isn't born with thalassemia or cystic fibrosis or a host of other diseases that are passed on from parents should not be given that opportunity. Of course, we want a world where we can say your baby is going to be 100% healthy and is going to have the best chance at life. Where does it end? Who knows? You could also have people who have way more money than the rest of us, which is an issue that, you know, we constantly face, and what that means for their children and how more advanced, how much more superior they literally may become because they can pay more to do more things to their babies, and what that even means for the baby itself. It's all very interesting stuff, and this is all, you know, things that bioethicists and a whole bunch of other smarter people than me are going to figure out. But I just want to go back to this Dave Taylor guy because, again, here we have an individual that, you know, a few more individuals that told him that he's beautiful, a few more individuals that came into his life and supported him and made him feel welcomed into a community. Maybe he wouldn't be dealing with what he's dealing with now. My thoughts and prayers with this individual. I'm also going to check out this documentary. Hopefully it's still playing in a New York theater near me. Also, you got to let me know what you think about this whole gene editing thing. What are your thoughts on going and basically playing God with DNA and embryos and babies? I'm not talking about the artificial womb. I'm not talking about preventing diseases. I'm talking about going in for superficial reasons, making your baby have lighter hair or darker hair, I mean, look, bad baby. She's walking around and is clearly a woman who was born very, very white, wants to be black, has done things to her skin to make it darker, has done things to her body to get the body of a black woman. So it's not just going, you know, Eurocentric. There are some individuals that want to be black and they want to change their bodies. How do you take that all in and go, how do you take all that in and do you go, I'm for anybody being able to do what they want to do, or do you go that there should be limits? And if you do believe there are limits, why? Why do you think we should stay away from messing around with DNA? Very interesting. We get some people on to talk about this one. All right, I was JLW, and I will holler at you all later.